Bucharest, the second minor in a long season ahead of us for 2017-2018's Dota 2 Professional Circuit. Points up for grabs, $300,000 up for grabs, and also two teams hunting for a place in the upper bracket are next in the spotlight. It's Navi versus Mineski. Both have been in action a week ago. How can they fare again this weekend with another opportunity to grab more points and more money? We're going to find out over the next few hours. We've also changed our panel members up. We welcome back Winter to the panel. How you doing?
Great.
And also Melini.
Hello.
Ben, you alright?
Yeah, I'm actually a little sad that
Looking very spiffy.
This patch is going to end in 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's been announced.
Yeah.
That's a long show for BTS to carry on though, isn't it?
Yeah, when they told me about the show, I was like,
See, that's going to be a long broadcast. I pity those guys. Let's talk about Navi and Mineski. They have been in action already. We've seen what they've got effectively in the first week. What can they change in such a short space of time?
They might add one or two heroes into like their repertoire. Like the way they play as a team as a whole, I don't think would change much.
No.
Yeah, I would see maybe one or two extra different heroes.
And particularly maybe for Navi rather than Mineski, because Mineski, after all, they've reached the final. They did really well. They looked very good all the way through. It was only Liquid really that sort of undid them.
Yeah, but during the early stages of the tournament, they did look really shaky though. So maybe they need to focus on not only about picking heroes that are right for them, also maybe doing more research on their opponents, getting more prepared against their enemies.
Okay, well, the draft is up and running, as you can see. We're running a little bit behind, so these players want to get on with it, and we're quite grateful to them to jump into the first draft. We haven't really had a chance to talk about that last matchup, Ben, but I know that you kind of went, oof.
I thought EG were going to lose about halfway through that last game.
I think we all thought that. 20 minutes in for sure. However, I do want to also bring up in this particular game as we await these first four bans and go through. We spoke about it a little bit yesterday at the start of the show, that there is one particular man in here who is playing his 1,841st professional game.
Dandy.
For one team.
No? Dandy?
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy, right?
How many?
1,841.
That is so many.
That's a crazy amount, guys. And he's coming up for 7 years this year as well, by the way, on the 25th of December, in one org. It's been done in other esports. Hasselhoff's a particular big name for Mousesports. I think he was there for nearly 12 years.
It's like almost one a day, every day.
But this is a team game, and it changes so often, as we well know. So, yeah, pretty crazy stuff.
Wow, they didn't ban Wisp?
So the Shaker comes out for Mineski. No surprise.
Weird. They banned out Wisp.
Yeah, they changed things up.
Time.
They changed things up a lot.
In terms of bans?
Yeah, they did ban the Ench the last time, but they did not ban the Clockwork. The Clockwork is a response to their opening because they wanted to secure. I think the idea behind the Earthshaker pick here is because Navi is a team that focuses a lot on the mid. They try to pressure the mid. Like there goes the Chen Earthspirit, the classic Navi duo. At Starladder, they're gonna put a lot of focus on ganking mid, and Earthshaker, pretty much you're gonna just sit there and guard the mid hero. I think that is the idea here behind the first pick Earthshaker. You want to neutralize the pressure. But I'm not too much of a big fan of it because I think that with the creeps coming in from Chen and the Earthspirit rolling in, certain situations are pretty difficult for Earthshaker to save your core. They go for the Mirana, which is one of the better cores that can deal with the creep. You can just arrow the creep when it comes in. So pretty solid stop here for Mineski.
I also like it when the commentators get to say Nana Mirana.
Okay. Great.
Just, you know, it's my input to this particular draft.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
It's good, isn't
well, Paul got the last pick yesterday, the Huskar.
Hey,
Yep.
called that.
What are they going to pick next, Paul?
That's the one for the year, dude. I think it was once a year. And the TI6 last year. And then yesterday, that's it.
Didn't you call like
I'm
some
done.
Jakiro?
I did call it Jakiro as well. Yeah.
Just because you just wanted to see the
Well,
hero?
I mean, I call Jakiro every game, so, as you well know, and then you know it makes me look smart when it actually comes out.
Yep, Jakiro's good against Chen though.
Yeah.
Like, honestly. Good against the creeps, good at dealing with the push. They take out the Timber, the Brood, the annoying heroes that might come out in the second phase. Two of these heroes are really good heroes for Ice's Ice in Starladder.
We've been seeing a lot more Winter Wyvern too, versus sometimes versus the Chen as well.
Yep.
Not every team likes the hero.
I was going to say, are you convinced by the offlane Wyvern?
I think it's quite situational though. I don't think it's going to be good every game because him as an offlaner, he takes up so much resource. Like you kind of have to build the lineup around the hero because like typical offlaners, they have somewhat ability to make space for your team. Say a Earthshaker offlane, a Clockwork offlane, a Night Stalker offlane. You can actually make movements to help your team. But if you're drafting a Winter Wyvern offlane, he's going to be farming a lot in the game, and you have to adjust the farm priority elsewhere to balance things out. They take out the Beastmaster and the Pugna, the second phase. Beastmaster, one of our General's go-to heroes as well. And the Pugna, I think he played Pugna the most during Starlighter. He really loves the hero. And with Clockwork being out, so Pugna becomes a hero that might be a problem. And Na'Vi goes for this Pug here, which is really, really good with their lineup. Pug, Chen, Earth Spirit, very good lanes, good team fight. And the Pug is also, I believe, a flexi pick for them. They do run it on General and Dandy. But Earthshaker, a lot of players would say is a very good hero against Pug because you have that instant lockdown and Pug can't really run around. Oh, there goes the Jakiro!
Yeah, it's a Mineski hero.
Yeah, and it's really, like I said, it's really good against the Chen. Dual Breath, everything like the Ice Path, Liquid Fire, the Ultimate.
That said, they do usually play it as a fight.
Yeah, and it's very, I think Ice can definitely play it, but they prefer him to be on a more farming hero, like a stronger hero. And Jakiro is also really good against the Pug because you can actually catch him out when the Pug player is always doing like the wave clear thing. He jumps in, silence, and ops out, try to get out. The Ice Buff, the pre-cast Ice Buff can actually catch out the Pug.
What do you make of it so far, Ben?
Yeah, I think I don't think the Puck will have a great game just because of all this lockdown. Those are two heroes that you actually don't want to play Puck against, Jakiro and the Shaker. I mean, it's still playable, but it's just not great. You can't. It's not a free game.
Yeah, and another thing during Starlighter was Na'Vi always pick Dandy's hero last. So this actually might mean the Puck is gonna
be a general Puck.
Yeah, very likely a general Puck, and Dandy's gonna get something else. They're gonna pick their core here. He's been playing Chaos Knight, Phantom Lancer. Those are the two illusion heroes, and he played some like Bloodseeker, some other hero.
Oh, maybe that's another reason why they first picked the Shaker to cut out the Chaos Knight and the PL.
Yep, and Lifestealer is very good with their lineup because he has two vehicles right now, Puck and Earth Spirit, and he's gonna be really good against the Jakiro and the Mirana. They have a lot of magic. One hero I feel good right now is the Underlord. Underlord is really good against Puck. He's very good against Lifestealer in the lane. He's very good against the Chen, and he works really well with Jakiro. The setup, the pit into Ice Path and everything, the Shaker, Mirana.
You just love that hero, dude.
It's good this game. For sure it's good this game.
You're particularly biased against Underlord.
Yeah, but I don't know if they'll...
I was going to say, it's not in their arsenal in terms
they
of
probably
what they play, though. That's the issue.
He does play the hero, but I don't think they will give him the hero. He probably is going to play some Winter Wyvern offlane in this game, maybe. Because Wyvern is quite good against Lifestealer. And they have like some setup. Wyvern could use his ultimate for setup with the Jakiro and the Earthshaker. Seems pretty good there. So this is okay, this is their carry, so they're keeping, I guess they're kind of keeping their options open whether they can actually run Earthshaker offlane or Jakiro offlane or Mirana offlane, so they go for this carry which is good in the lane, good against Lifestealer. You have wave clear against the Chen army. Like in general it's okay. But this hero is kind of like a very snowball hero. Like if you get killed, let's say the Chen and Earthspirit gangs you, you die once, twice in the early game, it can be really, really hard for Razor to have a good impact in the game.
I think it's also hard to build him this game too. There's a lot of magic damage and physical. You always want to get...
I mean, BKB is essential this game.
Yeah, but
not first item.
What do you do before that too? I've seen a lot of different builds, like Force Staff, Solar Crest that we saw yesterday. We've seen some Hood builds, but I don't...
What do you like about the Hood build this game? Do you actually think it actually can work against the Earthspirit Puck and try to delay your BKB? Or not? Or even get the Hood and skip BKB?
I think it's good if there's a lot of teamfight going on.
And get like some Halberd, Solar Crest against the Lifestealer.
Yeah, I would prefer that. But it's also a problem because you want to Force Staff. What if they just don't jump you? And you just jump your Mirana? Then you need a Force Staff to save her, right? So, and Mirana's unlikely to build it. That's one of the problems. Like you need a Force Staff, but you also need damage, and you also need like armor / magic. I don't know. It's always tough building Razor, I think.
Just go with drums and see how things goes. Like a lot of
also pretty safe.
I mean, a lot of players actually do that. They just build the drums. They look at the game. Okay, game's going good, so maybe I can get an offensive item. Oh,
Yeah.
game's not going so well, so I probably have to build some defensive items. So they ban out the AM. So they are actually thinking it's possible that the Razor's gonna be mid, and they're gonna pick up some other big hero, and Earthshaker or Jakiro, or Mirana, one of those heroes would be their offlaner.
It's a very flexible draft so far.
Yeah,
from
but
Mineski. They can move stuff around.
But I think Ice, because I understand Ice pretty well, I think he doesn't like to play the first three. He can play the heroes, but he doesn't like to play the first three heroes as much.
Yeah.
So he probably will be asking for another hero unless the drafter insists. This game you're playing offlane this hero. I am picking another hero for another.
You can still play Veno.
No, Venom's back.
It is?
Yeah, first back.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
You need
I love
glasses,
that
bro.
It's like the light is like. Ugh. I was like,
It's a long way away as well, Ben.
yeah. I was like, he's like a Timber Veno player. Those are his. That's his jam.
He's like gonna play some weird hero, maybe some Naga Siren. I've seen them actually run like offlane Naga. Naga's quite good in Lifestealer. And they have like a lot of wave clear, so they might go for like a heavy offlane, like heavy farming offlaner and try to stall out the game against the Chen. But you know my priority pick here, if I'm drafting.
Underlord #1,
Yeah.
baby.
Oh, so he's gonna play the Razor? Wait, no, okay, no, Razor's mid. Mushi is playing the bench. And he's gonna play one of the other three heroes. Probably the Mirana. I think he's gonna play Mirana. I think he's playing Mirana. I've seen him like I remember this one game that he actually played Razor, but I'm not a big fan of Razor offlane.
None of these heroes are anything close to what he would usually play recently.
I guess he's gonna play the Mirana. Ninja Boo is gonna play. Mike's gonna play the Jakiro. Then Jep's gonna play the Earthshaker. I think that's how they're gonna organize things, probably.
We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's quite a lot of choices in there, that's for sure. Final pick.
Okay, that's
Will
the.
be Alina.
Dendy's been playing that hero. Like
Yep.
it's just a start at the like Navi lineup.
Okay, let's have a look and see. I didn't see. Did you see?
Yeah,
Did you see what
Alina's
I
a-
Mushi was playing Venge.
yeah, Mushi was bench.
Alright.
I don't know what Ice is playing, but I think I actually kind of like Navi's heroes more. I think they're a team that sticks to their guns. They don't
Yeah.
really like to
Feels
change much.
Feels more like a Navi lineup.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the other side feels like Ice is gonna be playing. Guys, I don't really like this hero, so I think they're probably gonna lose.
Okay, alright, so Navi for winter.
I'm also going to go with Navi. I don't
Yeah.
think that Mineski have good ways to deal with the Chen
Okay,
early on. It's going to get out of control.
alright. Out of control Chen. Let's find out as we head into game number 1. And our commentary team for this one are Cap and Blitz.
That's right. For the panel here into the casting desk, we're back for the second series. We heard, of course, the panel backing their predictions. Blitz, in your expert 0 and 3 opinion, who do you think actually won out in the draft?
Man, dude, there's like 1 week where we're like 20-0. A guy messes around, takes like devil's advocate, goes 0 and 3. Everyone like piles.
A devil's advocate, is that what we're calling it now?
If I went through like.
There
If
we
I
go.
went on for all of you guys would be like 0 and 20. So like, I do one bad day. Where was my Dream League like 20-0? No one's bringing that up.
It's because nobody cared about Dream League.
Shit, man. Some of the times like you and Ben predict stuff. Oh my lord. That's why I had to come back to casting. Some of those predictions, I was like, I am back on my way, Cap. Let me salvage this for you.
You had to save me from myself, is that it?
Man, I watched you at like at TI. Oh, that was some rough stuff. I legit.
I had my boy Draskell.
There's like 2 minutes of analysis, and I was like, the bad signal's been raised. Like, here we are, man. What'd they say? Navi's gonna win.
Yes.
All right. That's an easy one. Mineski all the way.
You're down with the Razor Vengeful Spirit draft. Didn't you just say Vengeful Spirit, garbage hero?
Razor and Venge are like my 2 least favorite heroes, but I feel like I've got to take a stand.
This has nothing to do with the draft and more to do with the message you're
It's like
trying to
spite.
send.
Anything you guys say, I'm just gonna take the opposite side
Spite
of.
predictions.
No, but really, I don't know. I really don't like Razor as a hero, and that's why he's gonna win. Because whenever I really don't like something, somehow it ends up just like working out. But like Razor as a hero is confusing to me. Like he doesn't flash farm. He doesn't scale ultra hard. his early game is okay, but his laning phase has to go really well. And even then, if your laning phase goes well, I don't know. There's like too many things that have to go right for this hero, in my opinion, for like that to work.
Well, there's already one thing going right. Crystallize is having to make the long trek up the top lane just to avoid being against the Razor. So Mineski should be pretty well set up for the laning phase. If Moon can somehow manage to win mid against Alina, which is unlikely as a Mirana, right?
It's okay, but I think Dendi Alina's just like been on fire, no pun, for the last like 3 games that I've seen it. Like he almost always has the top net worth. I think it's just a hero that he's really comfortable with in this meta. Like not a lot of people play it anymore for good reason, but it seems like Navi's able to make that playstyle work a little bit better.
It's getting that big push in. Mirana's going to have a hard time last hitting underneath that tower, but the aggro dual lane, I should say, of Mineski's should be able to fare pretty well.
Yeah.
Okay, top lane, they are going to go for Seneko here. Looks like they caught him out trying to wrap around behind the jungle area, and he is done.
See, I told you, man. Mineski off to a good start. This bottom lane, Razor's doing just fine. This Enchantress hasn't had a lot to do yet.
So if the laning phase is going to go really well for Mineski, I actually want to reference our last series here. EG was able to stabilize off of a bad laning phase. What did they do that most of the other teams have not been able to do so far? It seems like all the games we've been watching, laning phase goes really well, game is pretty much decided from there.
It was a bit different last game because their high ground potential is just kind of bad last game.
Yeah.
Like you had that repel Broodmother, but I think I've told you in the past, like I'm not... Broodmother as a hero, like in the ultra late, feels really bad. Because her abilities are just like scaled off her right clicking.
Right.
But she doesn't have a natural disable or the ability to gap close. So when you don't have either of those things, you're just going to have some difficulties as the game progresses.
Yeah, we saw them having to pick up both Blink Daggers on Bloodseeker and on Broodmother just to try and curb some of that weakness.
Yeah, and that feels really bad. But Razor kind of has that same issue. I guess his ability to go high ground is a bit better because he's just naturally a range hero, right? So you've got that advantage, but...
oh, nice block off here, but the arrow is not going to land. Dendy's going to be able to sidestep that one.
That would have been a big kill. But maybe Navi just wins this because this Lina goes ham. Like, the benefit of Lina, and the reason why I think it benefits Navi especially is, like, she's going to go Bloodstone, and if you look at Mineski's catch, it's pretty limited. So maybe if she just gets farm, gets a Bloodstone, it's not the first kill that matters. It's like you have to kill her 2 or 3 times, lower charges.
Mushi manages to bait out the rage use of the Lifestealer with faking out Magic Missile. He seemed to be pretty okay with not having the Razor matched up against Crystallize. They're not going to be playing that chasing game, trying to always lock down a matchup that is favorable for them. Because it seems like this defensive dual lane / tri lane that sometimes ends up being is still good enough. Against the Lifestealer. And it's up to Roger to really offset this laning phase since he is the 4 position that's able to take advantage of the jungle. He's got to try and find a win here. And not just killing a support. He needs a big core kill, but I'm not sure where he goes to find that.
Yeah, he's headed down bottom. Like he might even run into jabs here, which would be ideal as the Razor went back to base, ice. Now he's going to TP in. And they only have like one playmaker, it's Jabs, who went off in the last tournament, but we'll see how much they adjusted. Because I think they learned a lot from that last
All right, we've got 4 boulders we can throw. If Roger actually gets this one, there goes out the first one. Second one, gonna be followed up, and they have the Earth Spirit here, so it's just stones galore. 1-1 now, as they finally do manage to find that rotation, but it was a big one. The Razor, who's been kind of free farming this bottom lane, is sent back to base once again. Actually, I say free farming. He's not at all. He's 7-4. It looks like the Puck was owning that lane.
Yeah, Puck's doing fine. Like, beginning was a little bit rough, but he's got to play back for the most part. But this is just like Mineski styles. Like, they picked 3 cores, kind of greedy. Remember that time they had like ice, Arc Warden?
Yeah,
it's like, maybe one of them comes online. That's the gamble.
And who is that one? Is it Mushi's Vengeful Spirit?
I mean, Bushi's doing great. Like, the thing that I think hurt Navi in the long run at the tournament was, so far what I've seen them play is they're like weird lane swap shenanigans where, like, poor Crystallize, man, like he hasn't had a normal, like, I don't even know if I call him like a safe laner anymore. He's like a weird Carmen Sandiego-esque player who just like travels around the map and He's like, I guess this is my new home. Like, I don't think this guy has played the same lane consecutively in such a long time.
Yeah, every single time he just seems to get relocated around.
But it also speaks to like how they trust him to make the comeback. It's like, Crystallize, just kind of tank like the worst lane. Like, what's the worst thing that can happen to you, man? Well, you'll catch up. Like, don't worry about it. Like,
and this is all to whose benefit? Do you think this benefits Dendy quite a lot?
This is meant to benefit Dendy, and it's meant to kind of shift the support focus all the time from Mineski, so that Dendy gets a clean 1v1 mid, which is often what happens. So you can't really like blame Crystallize if the game goes wrong.
Nukes going on ice here. Trying to slow him down. They can orb in front, but that'd be a dangerous position. Jabs is already set up there. They're going to be able to start getting the drain onto General. It doesn't have a whole lot of mana to work with and no phase shift leveled. So now they're going to start working on Roger. He does manage to get the courier kill, but it may not be worth it, as he's probably going to be dying here to the Razor. A double kill for the Razor. Really great comeback for him.
Yeah, they
after that gank.
I really feel like, Cap, that they shouldn't have done that. Like, that was just a little bit too over-aggressive. They felt like they had to make some kind of play. Like, the puck jaunts into it, and at that point, it's like, you got to give up on that kill at the top.
Ninja Boogie going to be gone. A great kick from Seneko. Going to nail both Ninja Boogie and Mushi, but they do manage to slow down Crystallize, slow down that damage, and with the missed roll-in from Seneko, Ninja Boogie is going to be able to stay ahead of one step ahead of all of these spells. No Satyr Blast, no roll-in from the Earth Spirit, and he is able to survive.
Yeah, that was pretty significant that they can't kill him in that rage timing. But that's kind of expected, right? Jakiro's one of the more tanky 5-position heroes, like 800 HP, 3 armor, somewhat okay-ish move speed. I don't want to say good, because that would be an overreaction, but so far, a lot of the action so far based around this Chen, who's going from lane to lane Roger, trying to make stuff happen. And this is often kind of Navi's playstyle, like they pick Roger, jungler, or some hero that can roam around, and they try to get stuff done.
Going in again, this time it's on Mushi. Ninja Boogie's here, but he doesn't have Ice Path to immediately slow them down. Maybe with the dual breath. Mushi's actually good enough on armor, so they're going to turn on Roger instead. With Jabs here, they might be able to get that kill. It's going to be trade-off potentially. Ninja Boogie's going to be the first one down, and it looks like Jabs will manage to get the right clicks to finish off the Chen, but he is being turned around on. They're going to be slowing him down with the open wounds. Follow up with Chen, Centaur stun. So an easy 2-for-1 here at this top lane. Na'Vi are beginning to make these lanes work for them purely through the Chen's rotations.
Yeah, and that's always kind of just been their playstyle, is to move this Chen around, move Roger around, try to create some space, and maybe that's how you win through these lanes. Because we talked about how Dendy's going to be the direct recipient of some of these moves. He's the highest net worth in the game by a pretty hefty margin, considering it's only 800. It's like 8 minutes in, but he's already 500 gold, 600 gold ahead of everyone. Like, this is Navi's playstyle, tried, true, and tested.
The double 4 positions. They're going to run into Moon, trying to snatch up that enemy bounty rune. Unable to do so, but won't be punished for it.
Dude, he's mid lane right now is really rough.
Yeah,
like,
where
he's
is
full
his
2
boots?
levels behind. He doesn't have them because of the courier death, and I think that's hurt him more than anything, because he can't play aggressive on this Lina. And Dendy's just got a soul ring and he's spamming out. He's stacking both camps at once right now. Although he's going to miss that one camp. Oh, no, he doesn't. Oh, wait, he does. Because there's a ward up there.
Yeah, the ancient camp is going to be blocked off. But ward also gives really good vision of mid lane. Now, Vengeful Spirit, very much kind of pushing core. Does a lot of early game damage. The combination with the Jakiro, these two have a good safe lane together. They can actually start threatening some of these early tier 1 towers. And I'm not even sure, even with the Chen, if Navi's going to be able to match that timing.
They have Puck, though. And that's a great part about having Puck in a game like this, is if you overextend on one of your other lanes, then you can just TP in and do the counter. It's kind of like having Queen of Pain in that regard. It's like you have a Queen of Pain or a hero like Puck that can just immediately get close. And Puck's even better at that because of
Ooh, Lina's actually going to be one teleport in, try and follow up that open wound setup on Mushi and go for more. Ninja Boogie throws himself into the trees, does have a TP scroll. He has to find that one hiding spot that allows him to be able to TP away. He just managed to juke him out. He goes for it. It looks like he's going to be good. Dendy's too far away to get the LSA, and the Centaur is not going to be able to get inside the trees fast enough. What a great juke from Ninja Boogie.
That was sick. He had 4 heroes on him. The thing is, they all went the same way. They thought they were collapsing on him, but instead, he just runs left, does the 2
Oh, the arrow! They got it! General had no phase shift, so that quarter a second where he was done with the Fisher stun, wasn't able to do anything to dodge that arrow.
Wow, very well done, as they needed that. And that's a direct response to what happened up at top when the Lina had a TP in. If that doesn't happen, maybe the puck doesn't have to go for that rune.
Moonlight Shadow wrap around Fisher into arrow. No, he can't get it. Range creep is in the way. Vengeful Spirit does go into the jungle and finds Roger immediately. Looks like they're going to be able to burst him down pretty quickly. Crystallize, pops the rage, TP's out. Seeing that this is not a good situation. Oh, they're going to be able to stop that TP at the same time. Moon's going to go down in the middle lane from the Laguna Blade. Crystallize, stopped by his TP. Has no defense mechanism anymore. So Mineski do manage to get a little bit of vengeance. Good wrap around the top lane, but losing Nana or Moon in that mid lane, that's got to be rough. Denny's just getting bigger and bigger. Now a 1,300 gold lead between him and the Vengeful Spirit.
You see the benefit, though, of having some kind of BKB breaker or rage breaker is that oftentimes with heroes like Jug and Lifestealer, what made them so popular for a time was there weren't a lot of heroes that were being picked that could break those. So for the most part, you had this get out of jail free card that you could always utilize. But right there with the swap, we see that this is kind of the idea. Like whenever he tries to go for that TP greedy play, we can always stop that. They really need to stop Dendy, though. And this is such a fast Blink Dagger on the Earthshaker. 11 minutes in, Jabs already has it.
This is crazy.
Yeah, he's the big playmaker for them.
And they've set up for the perfect hero to shut down with that first Blink Dagger reveal. They went for the smoke up, went towards mid lane, even got the ward down to be able to spot out the off lane camps. But Dendy doesn't actually stick around that area. Looks like he wants to maybe think about going top here.
Yeah, and they're going to spot both Roger and Dendy, but Dendy's like the real target here.
They're going to go for Roger, but Dendy finally shows up, but it's a little bit too late. Mineski have already made their commitment, not going to be able to do anything about that one. Has to back themselves away. The Chen popping his level 6, getting that heal off.
Yeah, they got the boulders too, but there's one, and unable to do so. And meanwhile, at the same time, Ice does go down at bottom lane, but that's the reveal of the Blink Dagger. Pretty significant, although he's revealing that he's got an 11-minute Blink Dagger. I don't think he cares too much.
It's still pretty rough not being able to get that key kill. Because he just as easily could have gone bottom lane and killed the Lifestealer, but they said, Dendy's the most important person right now. He is absolutely free farming. We got to get that kill.
Yeah.
Got to keep him from being able to pick up that early Bloodstone.
There is something to be said, though. Like, when you're really that far ahead, you kind of know that the radar's on you.
Yeah.
Like, oftentimes when you play these snowballing mids like Storm or Lina or Queen of Pain or SF, you know that the next gank is coming towards you. And that's why he just backed up, played really safe. Like, a lot of people would be like, that kind of deviates from the pattern that Dendy's shown. Like, he usually shoves out the lanes, but I think he understands, like, I'm really far ahead. What I have to do is not throw away this lead. At the same time, Jabs, like, that was kind of a desperation play because he didn't even have Echo. And they also shot the arrow early. So, at best, that's a very hopeful kill.
Mineski do manage to take the tier 1 safe lane away from Na'Vi. Not trying to contest it whatsoever, focusing all their energies on mid and attempt to be able to kill whatever hero. Nice Fisher, it actually blocks out Crystallize really well. In the Moonlight Shadow, they will manage to get the Jakiro out of danger. Ice does manage to spot this ancient, I'm not even going to say stack, just a single camp that's being cleared by Tornado.
That was
slowly but surely.
That was such a sick fissure. And if you just take a look at the net worth, for a long time now, this Earthshaker has more than this Lifestealer. And that is such a bad sign right now for Na'Vi, that their one position player has been this sacked. Like, he's 4th in net worth charts. 4th from the bottom, I should say.
And he's kind of like Chaos Knight in the regard that he's a killer hero, right?
Yeah.
In order to get back into the game, you can't just AFK and farm. You got to go out and try and kill things.
The downside, though, is that the puck has also been slowed down. And that's the main reason why I think that the puck is going for the Blink Dagger instead of the Veil build that we see so frequently. Is because he realizes it's not just about getting his game online. He's like, I need this Blink so that I can be the vehicle. And if I can't, then my Lifestealer will never get back into this game. Because the way they get back into the game is by using that vehicle. But it looks like they want to set up on mid. Moon, understanding that they don't have a sentry here, he sees that 3 Na'Vi heroes are set up.
There's the roll. Ninja Boogie already had the heads up, though, from Moon. Arrow's going to completely whiff there.
Yeah. Instead, he's just going to Starfall at the wave. It would have been nice if they could have gotten everyone there, but they're assembled up at top because they wanted to grab this tower. It's so low, 167 health. And Shaker needs to be up here to secure this tower. If anybody from Na'Vi comes, it's a defense. And I think that Na'Vi should defend it. Like, General has Coil.
Well,
But-
Manis makes it really easy for Mushi to take it all by himself. Another roll-in attempt. This time they will manage to land it on a Ninja Boogie, slowing him down long enough for Dendy to get there with the Laguna Blade, and he just picked up his Bloodstone too. So an extra charge already.
Yeah, that's a really fast Bloodstone. 15 minutes in. Can complete his upgraded boots as well. Although I think Denny likes going travels, if I'm not mistaken. Gonna get that catapult denied, but doesn't matter too much. He's doing so well. The downside for him though is, we talked about how this playstyle sets up for him doing the best on his team. He's gonna have to do a lot of heavy lifting in this game. And he's gonna go for the Shadow Blade first, which is very typical of pretty much any Lina player nowadays. This is the kill combo. And it's also because you move around the map so quickly.
What about this Blade Mail build from our Razor? Is it just, you know, cheap armor item that he wants?
I don't think you can afford to go for a core build, if that makes sense. You can't
Okay.
go for like this Hurricane Pike plus like Ag, Shivas, all those items, because you're never going to find that opportunity. So I think he realizes like he's just got to be as annoying as possible and be a presence on the map and take fights.
The same smoke rotation that we've seen before. Mineski are going to get a ward behind the tower. See if they can spot Dendy here. The TP already coming in from Senego. They are managing to get the arrow onto Dendy, but no immediate follow-up. Jab's just a little bit too far away. Does manage to land the Fissure now. Now the Magic
They're
Missile comes out.
sandwiching
They're going to try and kill Dendy real quickly before he can pop the Bloodstone Suicide, but he already gets it off. Mineski surround this tier 1 tower. And it looks like they should be able to get it too before the Lina's back up. She's up now, but even with the glyph, it looks like Mineski already too well set up for this push.
Yeah. Notice Bloodstone. Dendy's immediately up, doesn't really care too much. And that's why they like picking him this hero, so that he can continue to play this very push out the lane heavy style, which allows then the rest of the team to be able to make plays. But this Lifestealer has been inside this Earth Spirit for like quite some time. Eventually pops out, but like that's how he's trying to get back into the game. For the most part, he's either just been hitting these neutral creeps or popping inside somebody, like wasting his time. Like, I don't think this is how Crystallized wants to play this game.
Drain onto mid. Dandy doesn't have the Bloodstone Suicide this time around. He is going to die. Ninja Boogie is going to be gone on the top lane, trying to protect that tier 1 tower. Will lose his life for it as well as the tower.
Yeah, really greedy for him to just set up there, but
Especially when they're already setting up on mid. Feels unnecessary to be top at all.
and I think you know this, Slayer. It's like if you're gonna make a play at the same time, you move back at the same time that play's being made, so that you haven't tipped it off, and now you can say like, okay, now it's obvious, like we're going for this play. I should start running, because if Na'Vi doesn't get a rebuttal kill there, then it was all for nothing. But they get a kill and a tower. Nice by them. Ice, almost. Wait, what is he? He's like swerving around for items. He's got like a bracer, but it's like he wants drums.
Yeah.
But he has a chainmail that I don't know what else he's going to build that into.
Yeah, he's got the Blade Mail on his quick buy, so he just needs another 100 gold. I mean, I'm sure you just build all the early game stat items, right? You're still going to build both Blade Mail and drums.
Yeah. I'd imagine so. I don't know how much value Blade Mail has, though, in this game.
I mean, I was wondering that as well against Lifestealer and such. Doesn't seem like the active is too strong for you.
Yeah. Although he is
The
gonna get
roll
caught
in
up.
with the coil plus the Lifestealer.
Very
This
dead.
is a very dead Razor, rather.
And it's actually the Earth Spirit that's going to be the vehicle right now. But Puck does have a Blink Dagger now.
Is that so Puck can show himself and shove out waves?
Yeah.
Instead of just trying to get the Lifestealer to these kills?
Oh, you're so smart. That's
Thanks.
exactly what it is.
Thanks, Will.
'Cause
I
then you
learned
can't
from the
be-
best. Oh, a swap arrow! I love combinations like that. Props to you, Mineski.
Oh, shit.
You know, what I always loved is the old VP with FNG.
Yeah.
Where they were so good at being able to get swap combinations, and that was a beauty.
The
from
swap
Mineski.
birds. That was always one of my favorites. Swapping to Visage Suns.
Yeah.
But very well done by Mineski. That's a huge kill. I mean, is it though? That's
I was
Still like a-
Lifestealer. He's looking more like a support than a core at this point.
yet he still has more net worth than this Vengeful Spirit.
Yeah,
who-
what happened to Mushi?
I don't know. Mushi hasn't even died.
He got the Mask of Madness and everything.
Oh,
Isn't
no,
that
no,
supposed
no.
to be a good farming
He's
item?
good. He's good. He's good.
Oh, yeah. The Shadow Blade
He has
and
a
his
full Shadow
courier.
Blade. Yeah. I was gonna say, I was like,
Why doesn't courier count your net worth? Come on, man.
that was weird. It's like, Mushi, why are you so poor? That makes...
Now he's good. Second in net worth, has a Shadow Blade, can go for easy kills.
Dude, I thought Mushi had died like 14 times. It's like, it's the only explanation for what's going on there.
It looks like they're going to stumble into the Lifestealer again. Poor Crystallize, man.
Nah, he's fine. They need to get a ward down before they make that move down.
Yeah.
If anything, they're going to wrap around bottom. And he's going to spot the puck. But General TPing out. And this is such a Na'Vi classic. General pushes out bottom. Dendy pushes out top. Farms out the jungle repeatedly.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about. So like the whole Dendy mid situation, right? His team creates all the space in the world for him in the laning phase, and then he in turn has to return the favor by aggressively shoving out waves and giving Crystallize time to recover.
Yeah, but he's not exactly in the position that he normally is. Like, this is a 5 Bloodstone charge Lina, who still has a lot on net worth. But they're going to go for the Roshan, and I'm not sure if Mineski realizes this. They should, as soon as the top creep wave meets, they should know that this is happening.
But it might be a little bit too late. Top creep wave, it's going to meet now. And by the time Mineski start realizing what's happening, Roshan is about ready to drop. They're going to start rotating over. So you're right. They do make that read. Arrow comes out, doesn't land on anything, and as a result, there's no fight that Mineski can really take. The Moonlight Shadow goes out. They're still trying to fight this one. Swap saves Jab's life ever so barely, and Na'Vi are going to try and make a clean extraction from that Roshan engagement, and they should be successful too.
Yeah, that was really intelligent move by Na'Vi. They push out the top lane really aggressively. They know that the wave won't meet for a full few seconds. And oftentimes Radiant's response to that is, we're going to push out top ourselves, right? But as soon as that the creeps meet, they realize, wait a second, they let us grab a tier 2 at bottom. Nobody's smoking us or anything like that. And at the same time, they're not pushing out top.
Setting up the Shadow Blade kill straight to the arrow. Great setup. And now Jab's here as well to be able to catch General as he tried to make an aggressive blink and goes for the orb backwards, but gets shut down by the Earthshaker real quickly. This is why Pucks hate playing against Earthshakers. Instant long-term stun.
And Na'Vi thought that because they had the Aegis, they're like, there's absolutely no way that Mineski's going to take this fight. Because that's usually what Aegis afford to is this time. But we talked about how you don't want to immediately go for these like 3 or 5 man plays when you have the Aegis. You want to try to get a little bit more map control on the map. And instead, you waste 2 minutes of the Aegis now just with people being dead.
And honestly, Mineski's lineup isn't supposed to slow down ever, right?
No.
At this point in time, they should never be like, oh, we can't fight.
Yeah, they should.
Even against an Aegis.
They shouldn't mind that too much at all. Because the rest of the heroes on Na'Vi are so weak that as soon as they catch any sort of break in terms of numbers advantage, they should just go for fights. Like, Crystallize is kind of catching up, but the Puck's just like dipping further and further.
Ice? Not drums. It wasn't drums, apparently, Blitz. It was a Rod of Atos.
Ooh, okay. Just like a casual rod. All right, nice.
Okay, so some long range catch. Jakiro barely getting away there. TP out. And with the Chen down, looks like Mineski are going to roll up on a tier 2.
This is how confident they feel. Even with the Aegis on the other side, they're like, we can probably win a 6v5.
And this is very rapidly affording them a big net worth lead. It's already 2K before the tier 2 drops. Now Dendy's trying to do what he can. Look at him chip down at that bottom tier 1 tower, hoping to be able to make the trade-off, but Mineski in a good position to defend. Oh, trying to set this one up. They do have the hero right behind him. The Ice Path goes out, immediately catching Dendy as he attempts to go for the LSA. Looks like Ice. Bit too fast for Dendy here.
Yeah, barely.
Oh, another setup.
Just barely.
No, Lifestealer. He's a little bit scared of moving forward. I would be too. Between the combinations of Moonlight Shadow ganks and now the Shadow Blade for the Vengeful Spirit. Rage is simply not a good protector for this Lifestealer.
They smoke though. They're trying to run into somebody, and Mushi might actually be the one to break it. Finds the Chen, and now they're pinging like crazy.
Ooh, they're going to go onto Ice here. Managed to steal a lot of damage away from Seneko, but can't turn around on Crystallize. A little bit too low. The Coil's going to be able to catch him. So they do manage to get that kill at the same time. Dendy goes down at top. And they're going to go for the extra kill here.
Yeah, Roger went down too. Do they have...
Oh, no, we even see a Enchant Totem's done, but it shouldn't matter. They got the Fissure. We're all good. They're still going to be able to pick up that kill. Back over to Ninja Boogie. He's being chased down underneath his tier 1 tower. Didn't have any counter vision for the Moonlight Shadow, so he's going to get a free Ice Path setup into the Macro Pyre. His allies are on their way, but they're not going to be here fast enough. Finally, Seneko throws out the dust. There's no invis here, my friend. Maybe he thought Mushi's Vengeful Spirit was around, but instead it's going to be Jabs and Moon are going to be the first ones here. Slowing down Crystallize, managed to get the Fuse Blade into the arrow, cutting him down. So Ninja Boogie completely sacrificing himself to be able to slow down Na'Vi members for the rest of his allies to get there, and they certainly do clean up the kills.
At the same time, I'm not even sure if it's worth it for Jakir to die to a Lifestealer. Like, that's how far ahead they are.
He's
like,
so far down.
Look at the swing and goal. Like, it actually cost them more. 400 versus the 300. Like, any kill right now for Na'Vi matters, and the laning phases for them just went so poorly. The mid game was almost all Mineski. Like, I still don't understand how Jabs had such a fast blink dagger, but he's made so many plays as a result of it. I was going to say he has a Yasha, but he was just delivering the Miranas, not really risking the courier at this point.
Okay, we can say it's worth it some of these times, but eventually Lifestealer has to become a real hero,
He
right?
really needs more items. Like 7,000 net worth when
He's only sitting on an armlet at 26 minutes.
yeah, like it can't be just the Lina carrying this weight, and I mean you can't really.
Lena's on 3 Bloodstone charges.
The problem is like I can't really blame him. This is
Yeah.
it's just kind of the cards that he was dealt. I don't know how he's supposed to recover in a game like this because he has nowhere to farm really.
So who is it on for Na'Vi? Like
I don't know. This
who's,
looks like
who's
a team.
not been pulling their weight when
This
it comes
looks like
to
a team, like a lot of team errors so far. Like after the Roshan, that fight at top or that engagement at top was just really rough for them. Like they can't afford that. And Dendy might just go
Great
down.
setup. Fisher
my.
into enchant. 2 Bloodstone charges. Now they're still going to try and fight this one. Bushi actually goes for the swap. He's got the BKB, so he's good with fighting right in the face of Na'Vi. Na'Vi shrink under the pressure there. Have to back up to their tier 3 and give up all these outer towers, it seems. Mineski are just going to go straight for the high ground. With 40 seconds left on Dendy's death timer, I thought they were going to go for the tier 2 atop, but instead...
No, I think they're so strong. They've got 3 range heroes. They got the Venjora. Look at how quickly they take this. Mask of Madness popped. This tier 3 tower is going to go down in a very short while. I think racks are going to follow too. Even if they had buyback, I don't even know if it's worth expending it. At this
General,
point.
he's so scared of initiating because he knows
Don't get swapped.
Jabs is able to just blink Gecko. They do try and go for an offensive play here.
Yeah. Don't get swapped, don't get stunned. But that's so much harder of a task. And that's why I was a little bit more confident, because even if like you have this Razor that I'm not a big fan of, like the rest of the heroes are just so good. Their way to start a fight is so strong right now on the side of Mineski. Like Na'Vi right now are just getting run roughshod. And with the laning setups going the way that they did, they weren't really able to recover these heroes. Like it was kind of the situation where Roger had to create a lot of space, and if he didn't, then the game was instantly really difficult for Na'Vi. Because they were naturally just going to lose 2 lanes. They felt confident that their Mirana could recover, and they just kept ganking the Lina. Like as soon as Jabs got Blink Dagger, Dendy could no longer play that sort of Dendy style where he shoves in that top lane, because he just gets echoed on.
So what are you going to do as Dendy? You're just going to farm off of neutrals and kind of safely push, but that's not going to afford much space to anybody on the side of Na'Vi. You've seen Mineski routinely smoking and going for aggressive invasions and really going undetected most of the times just because the lanes haven't been in a good position for Na'Vi.
Yeah, they need this puck to like continuously shove in the lane. They need the Lina to continuously shove in top lane, but Mineski are just so punishing. Anytime anybody shows on the map, just like Jabs is like, Blink Echo. Who else is here with me? Oh, Mirana? Okay, well, you're dead then.
They're going to have a Shadow Blade for him soon, so all the Invis initiators.
Yeah, this is so rough. Like, you don't have gold, so you can't really play, like, place the sentry game everywhere. And you're not playing aggressively enough, so you also can't do the same thing. Like, you have to play against this Mirana Invis, so you need sentries everywhere. You need dust.
And we're about to hit our big mid-game swing for Mineski where we've got BKBs, and they're pretty much unstoppable. No real disables from Na'Vi to be able to lock him down.
Dude, Mineski looked even better. We talked about on the pregame shows, like, okay, so they all played a previous tournament just like a few days ago. How does it impact them? Like, certain teams will play the same playstyle and try to like tweak things, and other teams will like get figured out.
And do you think Na'Vi is playing the same playstyle?
I think Navi's playing the same playstyle, and I think Mineski's playing even faster.
Okay.
Like,
That was the really interesting thing about that series is that was that first game, right, where Na'Vi was it them who were playing like super aggressive between their 2-4 positions and just moving all around the map, and Mineski was keeping up with them. And now it seems like Mineski's actually overtaking them when it comes to speed.
Complexity?
Yeah, it was complexity.
But, I mean, comparisons can be made in general.
Yeah.
Just like Na'Vi, for the most part, they were looking to fight. But when they play this split push game, like when they're forced into that kind of split push game, I almost always see them lose.
Yeah, it doesn't. It's not a good look for Na'Vi for sure.
It feels like they need the ability to like go well in the laning phase and then take these fights. But when they're kind of like put in this position where they're just like sucked down and farm and they can't go anywhere, and so they have to do this thing where like General takes one side of the map and Dendi takes another. Like I think I've seen them do this 3 times, and it's pretty effective. But the really fast teams like Mineski are just like they're punishing you for every single time. Like Dendi's got 2 Bloodstone charges right now.
Inherently, Chen is not going to be a good hero for this type of style, right? Like, he doesn't really give you the ganking options to be able to pick apart heroes when they are split up, and he doesn't really push in lanes too well for you either. Now that he's got Aghanim Scepter, he does have a Dragon who can always push out a wave.
It's kind of a bother, too, to lose with your Chen strat.
Because it's no longer a tool that you have in that drafting phase.
The benefit of, like, certain heroes is, like, you want them to have this unbeatable RR, right?
Yeah.
Like, for EG, it's a huge boon for them to have this Earth Spirit, or not the Earth Spirit, the Wisp in the back pocket, because that's like your trump card. You feel very confident. And for a while, for Na'Vi, it was these junglers, right? Like you play these junglers on the side of Na'Vi, and you feel like you can't really be touched. But losing kind of that drafting advantage where it's just like, oh, go ahead with the Chen, we don't really care that much.
There's that Rod of Atos in play. So they're not just going to get the Chen, they're going to get the Chen's creeps as well.
Yeah. Those are Ancients too. Those are just so annoying to get back.
Jakiro caught in the bottom lane. General was setting up for this for quite some time. He missed out on the Vengeful Spirit rotation, but at least he does get somebody.
At this point, kills are kills. That's a level 14 Jakiro. He does represent some net worth. Mineski most likely waiting for the next Roshan, and even without the Aegis on the previous one, they were able to take Rax pre-20 minutes. Or it's like 25 minutes.
Yeah. If they get Hurricane Pike on the Vengeful Spirit and BKB on the Marauder, those are huge upgrades in damage and survivability in general against a Lifestealer.
Yeah, a Hurricane Pike against Lifestealer. Because he's such a burst-oriented hero. Like, you run in, you open wounds, and if you can't kill anybody in your rage timer, you're just kind of done.
Yeah, you might as well be playing any other carry. Yeah. Jabs, he just found Dendi.
Look at Jabs. Like, he just plays this map so quickly.
And he's got a gem too, so there's no escape. He's going to lead with the Echo Slam and Chan Totem, just hoping to be able to slow down Dendi. Doesn't have the Fissure, actually. And he actually got a vision. Oh, no, that's not how the gem works, friend. That's not how you do that play.
Friends.
You can't swap and throw out a projectile stun when the gem goes away.
Jabs was going to chase him. I was just all right, that's not on Jabs.
That is not on Jabs at all.
That is not on Jabs. Like, Jabs had the right idea of that. He was going to chase Dendi down.
Yeah, he was just going to run alongside him.
Yeah.
Like, anywhere you go, I'll just keep up with you. I'll have Chen Totem up. Eventually, my team's going to get there.
Okay, regardless, the compliment was correct. Like, Jabs has been playing this very well. He's been this thorn in Dendi's side. Like, he could have
That's not how it works.
He could have force stabbed in 1 second and just enchant totemed, and it would have forced Dendi to Bloodstone Suicide. Like, that's rough.
Why?
It's all good. Mushi's played this game excellently overall.
Yes.
You get
overall,
one of
and
those.
To be honest, that's like a little thing you don't probably
Oh,
want
they're
to
going
think
to run
about
into
too
each other
often.
in the river, but Na'Vi definitely don't want to engage.
No.
That was the Echo expended, though.
Oh, now we've got the 50 damage. I keep on forgetting about that 50 damage. There's so many of these heroes that turn into all of a sudden big right clickers at that level 20 talent. There's a couple of plus 50s. There's Omni Knight who gets plus 100. Lich who gets plus 150.
Yeah.
Something absurd.
Let's go, guys. Remember, we were having that discussion about that, by the way. Those GPM talents not being as good as we originally thought they were.
Yep.
And we were our suspicions were correct.
Mm-hmm.
But more on that later. Oh, actually, we can bring it up because Jakiro's in this game. Perfect. So me and Austin were just talking about like Jakiro and Lich and all these heroes that like have GPM talents, and they look very attractive. But I think like we were saying, the level 20 GPM talents are just not very good because it just doesn't feel like it matters at that point.
Yeah, the only late game one that's viable is Pucks.
Oh,
and that's because it's so much.
Are all invised up? Crystallize is running back to his base.
Not going to be able to make an initiation, it seems.
They're going to see like the Ancient dying. They're like, what's going on? Like, there is a BKB now on Dendi. Like, he still does a lot of damage, but this Roche fight is necessary for them.
I was about to say that he's only single target damage, right? Yeah. There's still 3 cores. Even if he kills one of them, I don't know how they deal with the other 2.
They need to go into this
maybe
Roche fight.
No, this is not the initiation they wanted. Not on a Razor.
They really need to. I don't know.
And this is exactly why Ice is putting himself in this situation, right? He's saying, you have to go through me in order to get to the Roshan pit. If you want to initiate on me, go ahead. Pretty stat heavy. Even got that evasion from the Talisman.
He
Gonna
really
be
wants
going
that
for the
cheese,
halberd.
and he's gonna get it. Mirana, so stacked right now. Like the level 20, like you said, 30 attack speed, 8 agi, 50 damage. This is where all of those talents add up, and she really comes online. She's gonna deal like 250 a hit with the mana burn, so that's like an additional amount of damage too, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like 0.8 per 50, so just like 40 extra damage a hit.
They really need that Aghanim Scepter for the puck. So at least they have some sort of lockdown against the BKBs of Mineski. So then our Lifestealer can go in with confidence, knowing that he's not going to get kited around.
Yeah.
But then the other problem is Lifestealer actually needs some damage. He doesn't have a whole lot of that right now.
So this is the scary part, is they can just go high ground now. Although they don't have Mushi, and I really feel like Mushi should be here for this. He's going to run into Roger instead.
Why
and
does
now
he
this is
care
going to
about-
tip them off, and his team has to run. I really feel like he should just be there with
Yeah,
them.
Navi's TPing back. They're trying to make the full 5-man work for
They're
them
trying
right
to
now.
make a fight right now. They should. It's
It's
a
still
45.
a little dangerous, though. 5 versus 4. Ice Path into an arrow. See if they can burst down the Earth Spirit. LSA does manage to land on the Razor in the back line. They go for it. They manage to get the initiation onto the Earthshaker. That's huge. But Moon is right in the middle of all these cores, and he's actually winning the fight with the BKB and just the right clicks. They go back over to it, manage to get the puck, as finally Mushi shows his face over the long trek from the bottom lane. Crystallize battling up against an Aegis, does manage to take it down, but at cost of his own life. Round 2. Now the initiation comes in from Jabs right as they were going to go for the combination of the Lina to kill Moon, who did not have a BKB, but Jabs puts a stopper in that one, and it looks like Navi are just going to get knocked out. A big 1-2 punch from Mineski. Take game number 1, 36 minutes.
Looked like they didn't need the Venge at all. She just came in to wipe out.
Yeah, she pretty much came in, magic missile stunned the puck, and that was it.
What she was expecting was for somebody to try to go for the split push, and then she could just snap somebody if you want the justification for that play. Still feel like they were so far ahead that with Aegis they could have just classic done that.
You think it
without
was like
having
the
to rely on that.
ultra safe play, like let's try and get a pick off before we go high ground?
Yeah, because
sort of
there's
thing.
no Enigma or anything that you have to worry about on the
Yeah.
side of Navi, right? Like even the puck, you're always going to be able to get your BKBs off. The only thing that can stop you is the Earth Spirit kick. But you're a professional player, you'll always see it coming.
Yep. All right, well, pretty one-sided game number 1. And as you said, right, like Navi is still kind of playing the same game that we saw from Starladder. Mineski, if anything, have improved their form a bit. What do Navi need to change to match up better against Mineski?
Their laning setups have to get better. Like they need to do something to incorporate Crystallize. Because
Can we Ixnay the Chen maybe take that guy out, or you think it's still a boon for them?
I think it's still good for them. I just feel like this setup where they're consistently running Crystallize in this like off lane situation so that they can dodge ice. Like I think it's just messing with their heads a little bit too much.
All right, well, Navi, they got a bit of a riddle to figure out. How are they going to be able to take on Mineski in game number 2? Short break, and we'll be back.
Get the alpha, be the alpha.
Game 1 done and dusted. Then in the second series in Group B on day 2. Welcome to the PGL Open Bucharest. We are back at the panel once more with Winter and Melina to break down our second game, or the start of our second series. Ben, you're not particularly impressed with this series, it has to be said.
No. Well,
It wasn't
I'm more
high
just-
quality Dota, was it? But
Nah. Well, the thing is, I always kind of like get sucked back into thinking Na'Vi is decent, right? It's like, oh, they're doing decently. Oh, they have a run at TI qualifiers, and then it's like all your hopes and dreams are shattered.
you're
It's like, okay.
basically a Na'Vi fan, aren't you? You've
No,
experienced
I'm
this.
actually the opposite.
All right.
But this time I'm like, oh yeah, they did pretty decently in last event, and this game was just they missed so many spells this game, and some of their spells are pretty hard to hit. Like they
Yeah.
missed like a Satyr Blast, I think, on Jijikiro this time. They missed a couple of rolling boulders, missed a couple of boulder smashes.
Yeah.
But
I have an American friend who messaged me during the game and said, are they not playing very well? And I went, no, not really.
Nope.
And he said, they're not really good in the early morning.
Wow.
It's 2 p.m., 4 p.m., or whatever it is. That's not an excuse.
well, there's always going to be an excuse, right? Crystallize hasn't been playing on that many lands. Maybe this team hasn't been together for that long. You're always going to be able to
He
make
was
an
good at
excuse.
Star Ladder, though.
Yeah, I mean,
I think this game, I sided them with the draft, but this game I felt like their lineup was supposed to win more in the early game. Like Dandy was the only person having like a decent, like he was
Yeah.
very farmed at the start, but the other two cores were not doing so well. The Earthshaker was everywhere, and I think the main problem in the early game was that the rotations that they made with the Chen and the Earth Spirit, like Ben mentioned, they missed a few like key kills, very important kills. With this kind of lineup, you miss those kills, you are in trouble.
Yep.
Like, Lifestealer was so poor, and I think it was kind of a mistake for him not to go for a Midas first item. He tried to still go for Armlet, and then realized, oh crap, this is actually not going well for me. I can't fight, I need a Midas, and he got a Midas after that.
the
which-
Razor caused him a lot of problems though, because then Lifesteal had to go all the way to top lane, and then they couldn't even kill him on bottom once they had a more favorable matchup.
Yeah, but Razor was actually quite poor at the start of the game. He actually had less net worth than the Lifestealer at some point. He kind of relied on his team, his team actually got him back into the game. They took a few good fights. Earthshaker set up really well for them. Jakiro was like pushing
Well,
on
that's
the lanes.
that's the thing we were talking about though, right? It's like you want to be okay with sacking when you're in lanes, and Ice did it at the cost of some of the other team. He doesn't actually need that much farm this
but
game.
I think the issue is they sacked the Lifestealer, but the rotations failed. That was
Yep.
the problem. Like, Ice got sacked, yeah, he got sacked, but Earthshaker rotations were good. They got a few kills, very important kills on the Punk. They killed the Lifestealer like once or twice in the lane. Punk died once at bottom lane from the Earthshaker. They got the key kills with the rotations, but the Chen and the Earth Spirit, which are arguably the better roamers, they should be getting more done, right? Compared to the Earthshaker. How can the Earthshaker be doing more than your Chen and Earth Spirit?
He had some really good fissures.
Yeah, but still, he shouldn't be doing more than the Chen.
I'm with you, dude.
That's why I thought the early game would have gone better for them. So 2 out of 3 lanes should be good for Na'Vi, but in the end, it was only one lane doing well.
All right, we've talked about Na'Vi sucking. Why don't we focus on the positive of the play of Mineski? Because
Well, Ninja Boogie.
we enjoyed the Earthshaker play.
Yep.
Ninja Boogie was in the right place too. Well, I mean, he died one time on T1 top and lost the tower, but aside from that, I think he kind of absorbed a lot of ganks and didn't even die.
He was doing his job. Basically, as a Jack hero that game, you want to be holding off the Chen push, number one. You don't really care so much about... it's great if you don't die while you're doing it, but you still need to do your job. You stop the push, you slow them down, and if they die, if you die and they use like 3 heroes, they use 3 heroes to kill him. I'm a position 5 Jack hero, I'm like, whatever, dude, kill me. Just kill me. And I cleared the creep wave. You're gonna waste so much time to push down the tower whereas compared to the other side of the map, the Mirana's pushing out the lane. The Razor, which was far behind from the laning phase, he was pushing out a lane, he was getting a tower. I would die for that, if I'm a position 5 support.
Yeah.
I would definitely want to die.
So the strategic play against the Chen was really good, and I think Earthshaker also just stopped a lot of their movements in their tracks.
Okay,
And
how much is this Mineski stopping Na'Vi play, and how much of it is Na'Vi just not playing well?
I would say maybe
A
like
mix of both, though, I think.
30-70 maybe. If I had to assign percentages to it.
I actually think it's half-half. I think Mineski did well. Not to take anything away from their rotations, they did well. But half of it, at the very least, was like Navi's own fault. Like when they moved top, they missed 2 kills at top, they missed their spells.
They did, yeah.
That was so important for them to actually get Lifestealer back into the game. And
Could have changed, couldn't it? I wouldn't say it changed the entire game, but it could have got them back
definitely-
into
yeah,
the game.
It definitely would have helped Lifesteal a lot because he got
Yeah.
sacked at the start of the game. You need to do something to help him, get his footing into the game, and not getting a Midas there, even though, I mean, maybe if he got the armlet and he got some kills, yeah, but still, I think the Midas first was really crucial on Crystallize because he needed to come back into the game.
Okay, not all is lost for Na'Vi, of course. We know that Dota has always been this game where you can have a dominant first game, and then the second game you can have a completely awful game, and we saw that in the first series of the day. So we know that it can flip, but how does it flip?
Figuring out what went wrong, that's why the coach will be really important here. Going through with them in the games, or you should have done this, or what actually went wrong, do we need to adjust with the band's picks? And number one, I think they have to see it as Mineski is coming into this game, they have this plan. They picked the Earthshaker, they gave you the Chen, because they think that the Earthshaker...
Because they already planned for it.
Yeah, they are planning for the Earthshaker to stop the ganks, neutralize the pressure, and be really good against the Chen in the mid game because of the catch and the Echo Slam. So do you still want to go into that same kind of game, or you want to remove the Earthshaker?
Is Havos going to be talking to them about regional differences here as well? Because that did seem a very CIS-centric kind of draft from them, didn't it?
Yeah, and there's just not that much room for error, I would say, in that kind of draft. So
That's how they play, though.
yeah, it is.
You
But
don't really want to move too much away from the way you want to play.
if you're too obvious and Earthshaker's there to stop every one of your ganks, and you're not going to be able to win the early game because of Earthshaker, then what's your backup plan?
You ban that, right?
There are
do
other
you
heroes
waste
that
a
are...
first round ban on the Shaker?
I don't know. I think the Shaker can be dealt with. Like I said, I actually would probably still go for the same plan. Give them the Shaker if I'm Na'Vi, and
Right.
maybe I would actually pick Furion.
Yeah,
as
MP,
off lane,
I was-
because then I would actually bring an extra hero, or I would actually force the Earthshaker to maybe consider, top lane is also a problem because Furion, if you leave your carry against Furion alone, then you have problems too there. So the Earthshaker can't be everywhere.
and
So at least you
then
restrict him.
Yeah,
to
you
a
restrict
degree.
his movements. Yeah.
There was also the point where you mentioned, like, okay, they can pick a puck, but it's likely going to be a general puck because Dendy's hero is for last. So there's no point in picking a flexible hero if you already know where it's going to be.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of like the puck to be mid more that game so that they can actually pick a stronger offlaner for general in the lane because they're gonna be like playing this kind of like roam. That was what happened with Mineski's lineup. They actually put ice on the Razor, so Razor is very strong in the lane, and you're doing this kind of like dual roam, Earth Spirit and Chen roam, and you're like thinking, oh crap, they have a very strong offlaner. We can't actually leave our carry here. Oh, we need to swap him elsewhere. We need to give him, like, you need to change your lanes because of that. So Na'Vi could actually do the same thing, keep their system, their dual roam, but pick better lanes. Give General a stronger laner or Crystallize a stronger laner. And then you force Mineski to be the one, we are the ones now having to change our lanes because we can't actually have this 1v1 matchup with this hero against this hero. Then maybe the things will actually switch to Na'Vi's favor.
Okay. Do you think part of the problem with playing a team like Mineski, or actually specifically Mineski, is the fact that not only can they have this very oddball-looking draft where you can go, they've picked 4 heroes and they can pretty much play in 3 different places, but they've also got players who can play in different places, which means you can do what they've just done with the Razor, and you can mix things up, not only with the lanes and with the heroes, but also with the players. That must be a nightmare right now in this current meta, which does focus on this kind of flexible draft system.
I think it's especially a nightmare when you compare the 2 position 1s, right? We have Mushi versus Crystallize. Crystallize, who hasn't been playing for that long. Mushi's been playing forever, like even as long as Dendy, I would say. So he can kind of play everything and is okay with getting sacked and is familiar with maybe some of the more unusual play styles that perhaps Crystallize... Like, Crystallize was so good in the qualifiers. We watched and I was like, oh my god, this guy is the next big thing. He was destroying everybody. He's one of the best position 1s in the CIS scene. And then we have him last game where he wasn't able to actually do that much, and a little bit of his experience, a little bit of his like teammates not working that well, but I think he probably could have performed a lot better if he were. He just needs more experience. That's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
So